Most of the time, I get here off of a failed shot or a scramble when the person ends up turtled up. So we'll just start with him and turtle here. But so a lot of times we get into turtle, right? We end up in this like front headlock position, right? If the person we're going against is pretty experienced, they go like 2-on-1 on the hand around the wrist, and then they end up like sitting out or getting out, right? So instead of going into this front headlock where we have one over the neck, one underneath, we're gonna go both around here, which is where I kind of find myself anyway if they shot a double, right? Because I'm usually like pushing on the hips here and sprawling my hips back. So I go into this body lock. Yeah, come over here so you guys can kind of see what I'm trying to do with this. I usually go gable grip here, and then in order to make this actually work, I need to pick a side, right? So I'm gonna pick my right side here. I'm bringing my lock over to that side of the body, right? After I pick that side and I bring that lock over, I'm gonna step and I'm gonna drive my knee in between his elbow and his knee, right in here, right? What this does is it lifts that elbow up, right? That's what I need to happen. I need to lift that elbow up. If I leave my hands in the middle and I go, that elbow's not lifting up, and then I'm just gonna end up sliding off and not getting it, right? So I have to slide that over, and I kind of tighten it up by pulling my elbow back to my ribs, making that tight. Slide it over, step in, bring this up, right? From here, now my options are open. First thing I'm gonna do, once I get here, I'm gonna fall to my hip, right? Getting him to fall over. My elbow, I slide it up and through, and I go underneath his head. Hand that's still underneath catches his bicep, and I grip up right on his armpit, grabbing onto his pec here. Right, I have some pretty solid control here. If I want to get deeper into that control, I lock this up, and I have really nice crucifix here. It's really uncomfortable, especially if I start hipping in. I can really stretch his chest out here, make it uncomfortable for him. So again, body lock, slide to the side, knee in, and I'm kind of like sitting back onto my hip. Once I get here, elbow comes under, catch the bicep. Cool? Questions on that? Pretty easy? All right, let's work around the power arm, right? You were struggling with it. It's harder to kind of lock that in there unless you have some pretty good hip flexibility. But same motion, I step through, right? As I'm falling, I bring this up and I grip on to his bicep here, right? But he's not letting me get my hook around this, right? Most people from here are going to try to rotate and turn into you here, like, because they can't really turn the opposite direction, right? Because I have this locked in. So as he's rotating into me, I'm lifting this up and I'm locking this down around his head here, right? Kind of rotating and kind of putting my the back of my hand to the center of his back, right? As he turns up towards me, I let him, and I go all the way through to the other side. From here, I slide myself towards him, lock in the doors, and I squeeze, and it's this one, it gets tight really fast from this angle. So again, body lock, slide it over, come through, rotating down, I come up, right? He can't go this way. I know he has to turn and face me, so I immediately come over here, right? He rotates all the way through. I stay on my back, slide, walk my legs towards his face, lock up his jars, and squeeze it in. Make sense?
That's tight enough to submit from the side like that. You don't really have to hook the leg or keep moving.
You do not have to. I wasn't even like squeezing on him. I knew I could feel it was tight.
Oh, yeah.
once you get, like, there's like this little like notch that happens in your neck when you start to do that, 'cause you kinda like squeeze in and your neck starts to do this. You know you got it when it stops moving.
Yeah, it gets really tight really quick. Like most of the time I get there, I don't even finish like my squeeze and my rotation with my elbow, and I'm already finishing it. One other thing about darts is that most people don't do correctly, right? You lock in, and most people squeeze, right? Squeezing doesn't change the space here. This changes the space. Pull the elbow back towards you. Now the space is smaller. I'm not, because I'm just burning myself out. Rotate to finish. Cool. You see it again? One more time. Same motion. Over, slide through, catch the bicep, rotate up. He starts to rotate towards me. I'm gonna kind of let him, and then once I feel I got this locked in, I let go of his arm, push him through, rotate over, and then pull the elbow straight down to the mat. Sick. All right, let's work it. All right, moving on to the next phase, right? So this is the one that I run into more often than not, right? Because if you've rolled with anybody and they know that you like doing this, they're going to fight and not let you fall to your side as hard as they can, right? So I get to the same position, I rotate over, I try to step, and he is fighting me to not let me go, right? This is exactly what happens most times, right? They kind of post up and they create this space here, right? And I'm trying to, if I try to, eventually I'm gonna realize I can't, right? So instead of working to fall to my side, I now bring my hand that's on the same side that my body is, and I bring it down and through, right? And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna fall down to my hip as this one slides over, and I lock this Darson here. I'm gonna fall to my hip, bring him on top of me, right? And then from here I walk towards him, right? To finish, I don't really need to hook anything. If I do, cool. If not, right, I'm not just squeezing, because he's gonna survive if I squeeze. I pull my elbow back towards the mat. Alright, so here, got my body lock. I'm trying to fight. Boom, here. Lock it up. Walk towards him until he falls. Pull my elbow down. This is a little more risky, right? Because if I fail, I give him side control.
Didn't Darce do it?
Right? But technically he doesn't get a guard pass, right? So if we're in a points tournament, whatever. Alright, so again, got my high ground. I'm fighting. He's being very resistant. Slide through, and I'm gonna fall all the way down to my side here, right? I might be able to finish it here. Chances are I probably won't. I'm gonna fall my shoulder to the mat and walk towards him. That's what gets him to fall over, walking towards him, right? To finish, pull the elbow down and extend my chest out. Good finish. Questions?